Awesome. So welcome back from your small groups. I could see that there was a lot being typed and I was so hesitant to like cut it off because there was so much good stuff there. But remember, you'll have 2 more opportunities and continue thinking on this stuff. And I've just gotten word that something is ready that I want to show you. So there's a couple things I want to say before we close up for the evening, and I should say the first one is that we're not going to leave directly from this space. At the end of every session, you're going to go into something that we're calling kitchen tables, which is a different small group that is just to make it extra complicated on Jenna, to create different small groups that are going to be the same from session to session. It's going to be, you're going to come back to your same kitchen table at the end of each session, even though the other small groups are going to be different next session, like the folks that you've seen already, you're going to be all mixed up again. But at the end of the day, just for the last 10 minutes, you'll see the same folks at each session, just to sort of debrief, decompress. Any thoughts, questions? And then there'll be a moment at the end to take the end of day survey. But there's a couple things I wanted to say first. Oh, well, I should say this. So the kitchen tables is not, you can talk about whatever you want. It's for you to sort of like, hey, how did this go? You know, offer a little bit more feedback. We'd appreciate it. And you're welcome to talk about things you discussed, but you're also welcome to just like, you're going to be introducing yourselves to each other and just sort of getting to know each other for just a couple minutes during those. But there's a couple other things I wanted to mention. I'm going to share my screen again. So this, as you know, is the panelist resources page. And I think I need to reload it actually. Hold on, let me do that. So what you now will see that wasn't there before is right at the top of this page is a link to complete the survey. So this is what you'll do at the end of this next little section at 8 o'clock, at the end of the kitchen table group. Then your moderator will direct you back here and you'll click on this link to take the survey. We really appreciate it because we get feedback, you know, from the researchers, and the researchers obviously really appreciate it to get a better idea of sort of how this is going, what's not going so well, what's going great, how people are interacting with each other, how the moderators are doing, how the rest of us are doing. You'll see all the same links there. You'll come back to this page, by the way, to get your Zoom link for next time. It might not be the same exact link, by the way. It might be, might not be. So always come back to this page to get everything. And there are some new documents and resources under the documents section as well. As promised, there's this category outline that you've just seen and had a brief glimpse of there, but now you can look at it in more detail if you'd like. So that's the one that Annabelle created that you've just seen. And then below that, I showed you the spreadsheet that has all those comments broken out under each of those subcategories. So if you want to go really in depth, or look into a particular category, you want to click on that link. And then down here at the bottom, parts 1 and part 2, part 1 and part 2 down there is the original documents. So this is before we did any kind of not editing. We didn't edit the comments at all, but we categorize them. So before we did any kind of categorizing, that's just the raw as it came from the Oregon legislature. You can find them directly from the legislature if you'd like as well. And then the very last thing on here is a short video, which we were going to do right now, but was a thing that was easily cut for time. And is a short video. It's kind of fun, has little drawings. It's somebody with an Australian accent, so that's always cool. One of our sort of colleague organizations in Australia has put together this little short, maybe it's like 3 or 4 minutes or something, on bias. Cognitive bias and how our brains basically deal with information. It's interesting, I think. You might learn something. And yeah, you might learn something about how other people think as well. So take a peek at that when you have a sec. The rest of this stuff is everything you've seen already, except for down here. Well, this actually you have seen. It was in your panelist materials. And it's a note about independent research. So this is something we just allow between each of these sessions, will allow you to do your own research. So if there's something you wanted to look up, something that came to mind when you were looking over that outline, and you want to look a little bit more into it and bring it back to the whole panel, then follow the directions here and click on the Submit Independent Research link, and it will take you to a survey that will ask you for just your first name, of course, and ask you to summarize the information you found, because there's kind of too much for everybody to read. Even if only a few people do this, that's a lot to read. So a couple sentences, and then a link to the source as well. And you can also upload it here if you have a document, and a little bit down here at the bottom about why you think this item is important for other panelists to know, and why you think it's a reliable piece of information. There's a few pointers in there on how to identify reliable information. So answer those questions and submit your research. And then before the start of the next session, and as I should point out here, as it says on the panelist resources page, please use the link below at least 48 hours before the next session. So that's Tuesday. So by Tuesday, end of Tuesday next week, please send it. And then on Wednesday, we will compile those and send them back out to everybody. Or actually, we'll put them on this page is what we'll do. So that's that. Jenna, how are things going on your end?
Good. Just doing a final check, and I think we're all ready to go.
All right. So with that, for the last just couple minutes here, and moderators, I think you'll probably just have time to just do a quick round of introductions and then head to the survey. And that'll be good enough. You'll have more time with these folks in your kitchen table at the end of each of these sessions. Thank you, everybody, for doing this with us. And I'm supposed to mention one other thing, which is there's going to be a survey just on your experiences with the technology. So look for that if you had technology problems today. We'd like to know what they are beyond what you might put on the researcher survey, because they're not quite as concerned about that. Specifically tech issues, we'll send you something. All right.
Awesome. Whew.
Oh.
Hang on a second. Stop live stream.